In recent years, we've seen the number of companies doing business in the oil patch increase significantly. In fact, I think since we passed ACES, the number is up about over 250%. We have a lot of new companies doing business in Alaska. We have a lot of smaller companies doing business. That was one of the main philosophies behind ACES was we wanted to try to increase competition. We wanted the smaller companies, the wildcatters, to come to Alaska and start exploring and start developing. One of the things that happened right after we did pass ACES, though, was we had the financial meltdown. And in 2008, we had the stock market's crash, the credit crunch that everyone has felt. And so we've heard from a lot of people in the industry that having a hard time attracting capital. And what this bill does is it enables ADA to provide venture capital to ensure that new oil comes online quickly, and as quickly as possible. This is not anything novel. This is something that we do with ADA in a variety of different spectrums. ADA, for those that don't know, owns a Cook Inlet rig. They own an oil, they're invested in an oil terminal in Skagway, a mining road in Port in Northwest Alaska, a shipyard in Ketchikan, and many others. Just last year, Mr. Chairman, the legislature legislation proposed by Governor Parnell was enacted to expand ADA's authority to invest in economic development projects. This is the state of Alaska using our billions and billions of dollars that we have and helping out projects that just need a little push. We may invest, we may take an equity share. We're already the largest investor of the North Slope. We have situations where on development projects we're investing 60%. We have situations where, because of our credit structure, we're investing 80% or more in exploratory projects. This gives the state an opportunity to gain alignment with the industry, to be at the table when decisions are made. I'll have, I know Senator French is a co-sponsor of this, and he had a very innovative idea of getting Alaskans involved. I know he wants to talk about that. I'll turn it over to him, and then maybe for a few more specifics, my staff can talk about it.
Senator French.
Thank you. This is an idea actually Senator Wielechowski and I have been kicking around for quite some time. And it was partly born out of a desire to sort of take a different approach than what we saw being taken in HB 110, where in our view there was an enormous amount of sort of financial just dollars, an enormous amount of dollars flowing from the state to the industry without any concomitant work commitments. And as we were wrestling with that idea, and this is, I don't think it's a brand new idea to us, it's done all over the world, was maybe we can create sort of a resource development corporation that takes the $2 billion that we're otherwise just going to push across the table and invest in ourselves, do projects ourselves. And then going to Norway and watching how they do business there really catalyzed the idea. Norway does two things. Norway has a state-owned oil company called Statoil that owns and operates oil fields just like any other oil company does. They have wear hard hats and drive pipe and set platforms and so forth. Alaska's never going to do that. That's not sort of within the realm of what's even possible. We don't operate that way in our capitalistic society, and I don't think it's realistic. On the other hand, Norway, besides Statoil, has a wing of their government that just is like an investment bank. They provide state direct financial investment in fields. You can bid a certain amount of that when you take a lease. A bidding company can say, I'll give you 20% share in this lease, and the state participates financially, taking some of the risk, taking some of the rewards. And then so as we sort of thought about that, we thought this is a way to sort of bring some of the ideas that we've learned about in Norway home to sort of make sure that the money that we spend is spent in Alaska, and then we get some equity return on it. It's more sophisticated than simply buying a fish plant, turning it over to someone else to run, or buying a jackup rig and turning it over to someone else to run. You buy a jackup rig, and then you say, I'm going to take 5% of that lease, and I'm going to get 5% of what comes out of that lease, and just like any other owner would. And so it's moving forward. It's not without concerns. It's a big idea. We met with an oil company executive at a nice lunch this summer, ran the idea past him, and he said, I don't know if I want to be on the same side of the table as people that are, I don't want to invest in people that regulate me. That it's just a concern that he had. I don't want to put my money to work with a person that also is going to come in and regulate me. And so it's not as if this is just a slam dunk idea. But I think it's something we need to work on. And so that's the idea. And I appreciate the approach the community is taking, which is sort of have some dialogue and see what the level of interest is. there is, you know, and if the state's going to invest, you know, the people may want to invest. It may be that people see the state doing this. The state, you know, the industry is 90% of our economy. It's 90% of the state's income. And so we thought, well, you know, if we're going to invest, maybe there would be a way to get people to invest some. And that's, you know, and sort of see and participate in the state's most lucrative industry. And so that's what kind of gave rise to the idea that, you know, if you wanted to take some part of your permanent fund dividend or some other way of investing directly, you could have sort of like a pick, click, and drill program, and you know, sort of have some fun with that idea. So that was. See, Senator Wagner likes it. That's always good to get. It's good to get committee attention. You know, I don't care about you guys so much, but these guys listening. So anyway, that's the idea, and thank you.